Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Neil for T-Shares here, Tru2X.io. We're going to take a look at the first 2X today that we've made on our validation phase. So it's been a good time. Everybody's enjoying themselves, all the participants. We've had a lot of interactions, a lot of questions, good camaraderie, and the people here have really, asked the hard questions and experiencing what it's like to 2X their pulse. We know it's a first of its kind protocol that we're building here. And for those who don't know or not familiar with what Tru2DeFi and Tru2X is, Tru2DeFi.io has a team of people, myself, Executioner, and Daniel, Token Rider, as is known in the chats. And we're a team, plus our unnamed dev, who put together a DeFi service tool called Tru2X. It's a first of its kind service tool that works off an auction house based model, and that auction house based model allows users to bid on shares each and every day, and to get their positions in the pool. And they are there. They get in the pool, and then they make a deposit of pulse. They end up then deploying the miner because they mine from a pool to get the pulse. Then a deployed miner then the next day earns pulse as dividends. And then when the miner reaches maturity at a 2X, which is the maximum anybody can earn, then they will be able to exit. It's that simple. You deposit, you deploy, you earn, and you exit. That's the essence of what Tru2X is. But there's a lot more under the hood working, and we'll talk about it. I'm going to bring up one of our participants, Smo Spider. There she is.
Can you hear me and my dog?
I hear you.
She's barking.
I don't hear the dog barking, so you're good.
Oh, okay.
Good deal. Well, Smo, introduce yourself and talk about your what do you think of so far with your Tru2X experience?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm Smo Spider. Been around a while here in the Hexagon cult. And I love the Hexagon cult. And so I've known about this for over a year, but I didn't really know the name of it, right? And then so it wasn't until, I guess it's been over a month now, I found out more. And I'm with Randy, No Permissions Group. So Hexecutioner came in and did a full on presentation for us. And that really opened my eyes, and I had connected the dots in my head because I realized that Hexecutioner and some of the other guys I'd been talking to when I was with King Pooey, that's what they were talking about. So it just all came together for me. And I was already in the Telegram room too, because of, I think it was because of Ben 369 or AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I am, I'm in the room already, and I hadn't been paying attention. So I started really, really looking at everything. And I mean, I didn't turn around and go any other direction. I mean, I just kept, staying in the Telegram room every single day. Like, I don't think I missed a day. And usually I'll miss days from time to time on things because I like to take breaks. Well, no, not in this case. And so I learned a lot and I know I'm not supposed to say a lot about the testing, so I'm not. But of course, I'm a tester. And I was prepared before I started testing. So I've seen people come into the testing later, like day 4, day 3, even day 2. And, they're not going to be as prepared as like I was, or most of us were, because we had already were getting the information. We were looking at the PDF documents. We were looking at the tutorials, which I don't think you call them a tutorial. You call it
I just
Some,
do videos about how it works. I mean, it's just nothing,
yeah.
no how-to things. Mhm.
And it clarifies for you though, if you just like rinse and repeat and you're hearing the same words, the same terminology, the same protocol, the same like options, because there's plenty of options here. It's actually very well, I won't get into how simple it is yet, but because it is simple. It's just that there's just so many options for people to create their own plan and decide for themselves what makes sense for them, for their own personal goals. Um, for instance, moving, say, your dividends from one wallet to another wallet, or how to exit if you prefer to get an exit on a 2-time, what to do, blah, blah, blah. If you want to just set it to all compound all, um, why do you do that? Most people probably would know that, but it's just interesting because there's so many different options, but anyone could come into this and do it easily. There's no doubt about that. It's just that there's just a lot of options that we were looking at to really understand, you know, manual compound, um, a minor buyback to, money back guarantee here, people. No, but understanding that a minor buyback is not just a minor buyback, it's that the protocol is buying back that card. Am I right?
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, and
Exactly.
so because they're buying it back, you didn't actually get it 2 times yet, but at least you're gonna get a 1 times, because the protocol is guaranteeing you that it will, you know, give you your funds back in shares, that go back to PLS. So if you put in 50,000, say you put in 100,000 PLS, or
Mhm.
500,000 PLS, or a million PLS, or 5 million PLS, you're going to get that back, but that's only because the protocol is buying the rest before it were even to get to 1 times. If
Yeah.
it had
Yeah,
not.
the amount of buyback programs there for people who have emergencies that need to leave. That's really what it's for. And we have safeguards in place to keep from getting abused, but it was one of those features that I'm glad y'all got to see and participate in and see how it works, because it's one of those things that typically in most crypto protocols, once you make a deposit or enter into the contract to do something, you're stuck until it's fulfilled or you pay a penalty. Well, we try to remove that negative, those negative functions from this system to give you an opportunity to get your 1x back, your deposit back, if you come into a reason you need to get out. So things happen in life. Sometimes you say, well, today I'm going to make a deposit, and 2 weeks later, next thing you know, oh no, my tire blew. I got a new tire, and that was the money I was going to use. Well, request the 1x and get your money back, and we'll buy it and we'll put it to use. So good deal. So Smo, what drew you to Tru2X, or besides being with the guys in the chat, what about it made you think that sounds neat or different?
A 2x.
So 2x. Good.
Yes.
And that's why we named it Tru2X. I mean, it's we weren't trying to be cheeky about it, and it's just what it does and how it operates. So,
However, keeping in mind that I've been around a long time before crypto. Even I was involved in some things, you know what I mean?
mhm.
And oh, my buddy would tell me, "Oh, you should try this out." Not like BitConnect or anything like that, but before I even knew what Bitcoin was in 2014, right?
Mhm.
So I'd be like, I don't know, 2012 maybe. Okay, you deposit money into this Ponzi scheme.
Mhm.
Okay, so here we go. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it every day. We're making money. We're making money. We're making money. And then a few months later, oh my gosh, the website doesn't work anymore. Oh my gosh, the website's down. And it never comes back up. So I'm just
Right.
saying that was not a 2 times, but it was it wasn't the miners and all that. But I'm just saying way prior to me even finding crypto. And then I had also done something, and it wasn't Tron, but it was something way back in 2014 that I had miners, and I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't even liquidity provided yet. I hadn't learned anything really in crypto that much yet, other than just the principles of crypto, which is why I was attracted to crypto in the first place. So I had a hard time with those miners, but that didn't last, and it had nothing to do with what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So I just want to mention that, in comparison to these other, a real Ponzi scheme. I mean, there's a lot of Ponzi's in the world. You know what I mean? Our government can do things that are kind of Ponzi-ish.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest Ponzi. It's the world's biggest Ponzi. There's no doubt about it. I
Well,
mean, think
thank you.
about it. I think even Richard mentioned years ago, everything's a Ponzi technically. If everybody sold all their houses at once in real estate, all the prices go to zero, right? So
Right.
it's all about belief and what the next person's willing to pay for whatever the thing is. But we, I'm quote Fast Abdul here. We've unponzi the Ponzi because first of all, there's nothing to buy, right? You're not buying anything. You're just depositing your pulse. We're not giving you a token. We're not selling you anything. It's just what we're doing. And we guarantee a 2X, not because we're doing something magical. We're doing some kind of, risky arbitrage event in the background or trying to hide or obfuscate things. We do things in the system designed with, certain protocol, operations and functions that allow users to get a 2X. We can guarantee it. Now, the only thing we can't guarantee is when it happens. And so in the test that you've experienced, obviously we've had this, we're on day 6 and the first 2X's happened.
From the first day, yes.
From the first day, yes. So if you look at my screen here, this is a day 1 deposit, and it was deployed on day 2 from the mining pool, from the mining area, and started mining on day 3. And on day 6, it received its 2X. Now, in this test scenario, I'll explain to everybody who have a few questions. We asked everybody to keep your maximum deposit per wallet to 100,000 pulse. Now, and that was only because of cost, because it's real money, and we don't want people, to lose out, and B, to make sure that people don't, overextend themselves, and also to make the system be as average as it can be, so people can see real results. Because if one person puts 100,000, one person puts 10 million, it skews the result. So we try to keep it even across the board, though not every day everybody deposited. We knew some days some people didn't deposit. That's okay. And the 2X still was achieved easily. So that's not a problem with that. How do I make this bigger? Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. All right. There we go. It's a little bit bigger. So there's a couple questions in chat. Let's see. That one of those was about the size of our from Monty Fontaine, about has the first 2X occurred because you're only allowing small amounts to stake, or because there are just a few people in the testing phase? Because I'm just curious, if I stake my 100 million and get a 2X in a week. Well, we can't guarantee a week when we launch live. First of all, we don't know how long it'll take to 2X. There's no way to predict that. But every model and every test we've ran, it's all happened within 30 days or less, just because of how the system works. So this particular test was 6 days, just because it works the way it worked and the people participate how they did, and that's what the math generates. We didn't have to pad the numbers, do anything special. We do whatever happens here is just a slice of what will happen in the future, but scale it out. So some days the only difference is you'll have way more discrepancy in user deposits on any given day than this particular test, because we're kind of showing people how it works and showing the ropes, getting them familiar with the UI and all the functions that are available. So let's see here. Yes, Mr. Fontaine, there will be options for other tokens to double in the future. Which ones are to be determined? We'll talk about that. That's a future date thing. But yes, this is a tool we're building. It's a DeFi tool. It is not any chain dependent. We could go to other chains or anything. The options are there. So we are building a DeFi tool that allow you to double your tokens. That's what it does. So, all right. So let's look at this day 1 here. Okay. So this day 1 deposit, it 2X'd.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, I put in 100,000 right here, and then now I have 2 as dividends. And this wallet is what you call a compound all wallet. It means everything in this wallet compounded. So all but the last little bit of dividends at the very end compounded into new deposits, and that's what happens. So I'm gonna walk people through then basically the process, and we'll come back to this and talk about the 2X. So let me switch to a fresh wallet here that doesn't have that one. Okay. This particular wallet has had no interaction, and I don't have enough tokens. That's why. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't make a deposit today at all. Yeah. Okay. So here's a wallet here that has not made a deposit, nor does have any compounding features associated with it. So a user would walk through, they would come and enter lobby, and they'd enter their amount of pulse they want to deposit. So if you have 100 million pulse, you put 100 million pulse here. There's no commas, so make sure you count your zeros. I'm sorry about that. We'll upgrade it later.
You want my referral ID?
Yes. Now, this is a referral ID. Now, referral IDs are a part of a referral program that's going for 45 days. If you have not made a deposit yet and you're brand new to the system, you will know how to have a referral ID. You might know somebody who does, and there'll be a number here. And so I know I have a referral ID of 164 in another wallet. That's my ID from a wallet. And I'm going to refer to myself, which I can. Or, but what's yours?
No, do yours.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. What number is yours?
It's great that because you're doing a deposit is the only time that you can really put in the referral ID, right?
Correct. Well, you input it one time on fresh deposits. So every day that you don't compound, you get to put a fresh deposit in if you want to, right? That's when the referral ID option comes up.
Exactly. I noticed that it took me a while during the testing to figure that one out.
Yeah, because if you're compounding, it's going to take that same ID, take the compounds, and put it right. Use that bonus for that ID for all the compounding.
And you guys had said that over and over and over to other people because I'm always like listening, and it never really made sense until it happened to me.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and like I said, it's new. This is an auction house, right? So we are bidding on shares. So when I make my deposit in a lobby, I'm bidding on shares. And every day there are 1 million shares available. And there's my deposit. I just made 100,000 pulse deposit. It showed up as a pink card. I'm bidding on shares. And if you go down here, it says there's my deposit because we are on day 6. I made 100,000 deposit, and I have it says P2X scoring, which is like my score of P2X proportional to the system. And I have a ratio of 0.065250, which is my P2X score in decimal, meaning I have 6.52 thousand shares per 1 million shares that are available today. That's what it means. So, and that share rate, all it does is determine my proportional ownership of the dividends that will be distributed that day. It's an accounting tool for the system that stays internal. So whatever's allocated to me for those dividends, that's what it means. And this rate is dynamic at the end of the day because we work on a 24-hour cycle. This rate will change based at the end of the day. So when the last person deposits, I will go down in this number will go down because there'll be more people after me making deposits. Therefore, my ratio will go down because I only put 100,000 in. If I want to go up, I have to add pulse. I can click this and add pulse if I want to. Okay. So that's the basic deposit. You just come in a lobby, you make a deposit. It shows up here as a pink card and tells you that you have an active deposit. Now, the next day, so person interacts, they would come down here and they would click. And yes, my yesterday's deposit I made from this wallet is showing here. So now I have the option to now mine the pulse and put it to work earning dividends. I click the button. When I do so, I have an exit to lobby, mine pulse graphic pops up. It gives them information about the ID of the card and how many shares is associated with this particular card. As you can see, this is 4.8, where I was at 6.52 just this previous deposit. So obviously I was diluted, on yesterday's deposit. And it asked me how many miners I want to. Well, you can have up to 20 miners per card. And so if all that does is divide the deposit up into bits if you want to manage it in a more microscopic way. I'll say 2 here for the sake of argument. Hit start miners, confirm my wallet. And now this card will leave this mining card. And I was not going to leave this and go start earning yield. And so it'll disappear from the system and it'll turn up just like this as they ended. See, it's gone. I can't pull it down anymore. It's disappeared. But the one from today is pending. So tomorrow it will turn orange. Okay. So we deposit, we deployed, and let's see what I got going on here. And we have a miner from the other day I did. And this, on the third day you interact with the system, you get what you call a miner card. And so this miner card then is shows you where you're earning dividends. Now, this miner I did yesterday only has one miner. I did not divide it. I only have one. It was from day 5. It tells what day it was sent over. And it tells me how many dividends I've earned so far. So from yesterday to today, I've earned 0.2784x. I put in 100,000. That means I have 8,400 pulse. It's dividends in a card. So if I wanted to leave right now, I could click here, hit exit miner, and select that number, and I could leave. If I select it, I could then exit the system by hitting this button. But we have a warning label. It says right here, below 1x exit attempt, meaning I put in 100,000 and I'm leaving with 27,000. That means I've lost money. That's not a very smart way to do it, unless you have a plan in place. So that's what I could do if I wanted to, because we're not locking the pulse up. It's you can have access to it, but you must, if to get your break even point, you must either wait till you break even or use the miner buyback program we have. But as time goes on, and this miner card every day accrues dividends, you'll eventually come to a table where it'll show you here that you're now at a 2x. So just like these cards are active, they're blue, they're active. I can compound or exit, and as they go through the system and earn dividends, they go to a 1.5x, which this tells you you're getting close. It's just like hey, you're getting close. Just be paying attention. And the day 2 miner deposit is already at a 1.8x, and my day 1 is now at a 2x. I deposited 100,000. Now I'm back to 200,000, and so I can exit the miner when I choose. If you don't do anything, though, the miner will just sit here. So it will not leave the system until you interact with it. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You deposit, you deploy, you earn, and you get a 2x and you can leave. That's Tru2X in a nutshell. All right, let me answer a few questions here in chat. So the money comes from yield farms. All right. So the question is, where does the yield come from? Smo, do you want to answer all that?
Not today. Thank you.
Okay. So we have basically 4 things. I'm going to pull up a graphic and explain this. It's really hard to explain what we built in just a sentence or even a graphic, because it's a lot to wrap your mind around. But there are 4 things we've developed in our system that generate yield. Try to find where we all righty here. All right, let me switch my share screen again. Oops. Okay, now let me switch our orientation. There we go. Okay, so what we have here in this display, where the yield comes from is several places. We have the users. So every user who makes a deposit, and every deposit, no matter where it comes from, not just the users, but every time a deposit is made through any compound, 80% of that deposit goes into the mining pool because you're mining pulse from the pool. That's what the miners are doing. Those blue cards. Now, that's part of where the yield comes from. That's would be the majority share in the beginning of the yield source. Okay. Now, this is where we start adding things to make it better, sustainable. We have external yield also called the SRE. So, of the 80% that deposits are made, 14% of that is exited into yield-bearing assets. And a portion of that 14% goes to the system miner. So it's kind of split, not necessarily in two, but in parts. The amounts would vary based upon what the system needs at any given time. The external yield goes into out in the DeFi community, into places such as farms, such as, say, Vouch, liquid staking, maybe LP provision for for non-volatile assets and stuff like that. And that yield will be then, in turn, returned back to the system, to the mining pool, increasing it by a share rate at the same time, giving the fresh pulse back in the pool. So you have outside income coming in every day, supplying fresh pulse to the pool for users then to draw from, and coupled with the deposits from the users. So that's two of the four things. Now, if that was the only thing we did, what would happen was we just we would extend the time to 2x for a really, really long time. That's not quite enough. It's sustainable, it's functional, and you would guarantee a 2x. You just have to wait a long time, especially if you have a high user participation in the beginning. So we said we got to have a better way to basically flush people out faster, to make their 2x time shorter. That's where our goal was. So the next thing we have is the system miners. So they get a percentage of this deposit every day. But their difference is they mine just like everybody else. They auto compound, they go through the system, but they exit at a 1x. That means they make a deposit. 80% of their deposit goes to the mining pool. That 14% is distributed amongst themselves and external yield, SRE. And then those system miners run until they hit a 1x. So what that means is they break even. They don't ever take the profit or the yield from the system. And so what that does is increases volume in the system, as well as the overall growth of themselves and the SREs, external yield generation. Okay. So these system miners then, as every day they get bigger and bigger, they have a bigger and bigger impact because they're making deposits and then leaving at a 1x and then starting over again. And they do it over and over and over. And they're compounding every day. So their contribution to the deposits gets bigger. And as you look at this purple line, it goes up really, really fast. This chart is a 21-day chart model that we took off real data. So this is not something we're making up or just pulling lines up. This is real data that generated this chart. And the only thing we had to assume was the user participation in this 21 days. We don't know what's going to happen. But we do know what's going to happen, though, with the system miners based upon a function of the users and their deposits, because they get bigger and bigger. As you see here, this chart represents the contribution of all the deposits in the system. So as time goes on, more and more deposit contributions come from the system miners. And the system becomes less and less dependent on user deposits in a very short amount of time. And you couple that with the external yield on top of it, boosting it. Now you have a system where you have outside fresh capital coming in. You have a rotational miner that comes through and making fresh deposits every day, depositing, increasing volume through, and users are getting the benefit because they are 2xing faster. And the fourth tool we have to generate yield is the IA, or the integration amplifier, in our partnership program. Here, what we developed is an option for any protocol to request a unique partner ID. And that ID will allow these partners to give that link, that ID link. It's a referral link, basically, that we would utilize. I'll show you all the, I'm just a minute, I'll show you all that, and utilize to, for the users to utilize. So let's say their community is, I'll use say Pulse Bitcoin, for instance. They have a big bunch of guys, they're all the guys that they want their Pulse Bitcoin, but the problem with it is that because it inflates in size, and they need more people to buy it up. Well, now you can create a buyer forever by using the internal integration amplifier partner link. Their users would use a link, deposit, deploy, earn their yield, and in that process, they get a bonus. And they'll double their tokens. And the other side of the bonus would go to the partner programs. It'd be basically a wallet dedicated that's inside the system for that partner. And that bonus goes in that wallet. It starts new miners, and it goes to the system like everybody else. And those miners come to a 1.5x in valuation. They auto compound all the way to that point, and it stops. And the remaining 0.5x or 25%, say, goes out into the market and buys the token, a Pulse Bitcoin, for instance, from the market, and then either burns it or puts in a claim contract for distribution to the holders. And it does this every day. It doesn't distribute every day, but it goes through the system and it compounds every day, and it compounds at a 75% rate. So the next time it goes through a cycle, it's even bigger, and then does it again. And every time it completes a cycle, it's more and more tokens get bought at the market. Thus, having a steady buyer for their project, and it's a cash flow model that protocols can enter into. And it's a little complicated, but that's what it does. And but it does it automatically, and it always compounds and never stops. And it goes to a 2x, so it runs all the time. So it acts as a user. So now we have these users that get out at break even, and these users that get out at 2x. And the average between them is 1.5x. This is a 1x and a 2x. This is fresh capital coming in from the and this is the fresh capital coming in. I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong screen here. So between the system miners and the IA partners, you have 1.5x and you have fresh capital. And so the users become less and less important for the system to operate. And that's where the yield comes from. And as you see the chart, the other three things beside users can contribute more and more to deposits every day, thus making user dependency basically obsolete at some point in the future. So that's where the yield comes from in Tru2X, and how we operate and allow the users to come in and participate, and how the protocols can benefit and participate directly or through the community, and how the external yield supplements all this with fresh capital all the time. Because if it didn't, it'd just be stale pulse. So this is always fresh capital coming in, making it a sustainable system that will work perpetually. And if a point in time in the future would happen, and say all users abandoned and they got out or they stopped using it, the last user would get their 2x, and then the system would still run internally without any user participation, because all these other things are all doing all the deposits, satisfying each of these classes of system miners and partner miners, giving them and satisfying them their 2x, boosted by the external yield. So you got that, Smo? For next time?
I'm just gonna keep on trucking on that one and keep on, yeah. But I know that you guys have been working on this for a number of years, right? And I just want it clear for the record that I didn't know anything about it last year. Nothing. All I knew was there was something cooking. That's all I knew. And I didn't know who, I didn't know where, I didn't know what, I did nothing. I want to make sure that I say that, because I put 2 and 2 together way back a few, 2 months ago or whatever, that this must be what they were talking about. And then you guys had mentioned, well, we've been working on this, cooking this for 2 years. Is it 2 years?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years. Yeah, it's it was 6 months of about 6 months of pre-development planning, concepts, ideas, problem solving, and then another 6 months of getting to a certain point, and then realizing we could make it way better, and then moving forward with that with code development, stuff like that. So it was and then optimization and stuff like that along the way, fine tuning the we did a lot of modeling with the numbers. So what the models showed us gave us the information we needed to make decisions on what to build in the code and the systems to make it work. So what I just showed you with those four items, supplying yield in the system, that's what it happens. And that's a result of all that work and time, and obviously testing. We spent probably a pure 6 months just testing the system once we got the contract finished to where it could be tested. And when we tested on DevNet, and we went through probably literally thousands of hours, and with tests that are both wide and deep in the sense of tens of thousands of wallets to hundreds and thousands of days, so which gave us the information and then test the contract and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been thoroughly vetted and tested. Now we're at the last stages because mainnet's a little slightly different than DevNet, and there's always these little adjustments that have to be fine-tuned. Hence, we're in a validation phase, making sure that everything's functioning like it's supposed to. And there's maybe a hiccup here or there, a slight adjustment we make, but that's okay. That's just part of the process. But we're open, and we want y'all to participate. And so we invited you and others to come and join. And we weren't picky; anybody was welcome to join. We didn't like to pick y'all out of a secret group. Y'all, it was anybody was willing was welcome into the testing phase. Now we're enjoying our first 2X, and so we have it here in 6 days.
Did you hear that, Mr. Monty Fontaine? But Mr. Monty has a question, and Mr. Monty Fontaine, we would love to have you if you're not already in the room. I don't think I've seen him in the Telegram room.
No, I mean, I'll post the chat link here. Let's see.
I can do that for you.
Yeah. Go ahead and do that for me while I'm doing this. All right. Somebody says, where do the miners mine? All right. Inside the contract of Tru2X, there's the pool. It sits on the contract, and that from that pool, as deposits are made into it, dividends are extracted from it to the people who are mining. And that dividend distribution is a function of the share rate each person has when they make a deposit and deploy their miner, as we said earlier. So that's where it comes from. So, and where are they helping the validators? So in the SRE, so part of the strategic reserve engine, yes, we will be using things like vouch and support the validators by depositing into the VPLS on vouch, and we will be earning some of that yield from that to put back in the system, as well as support the validators as well. So yes, we will be helping validators in that way, and maybe eventually we'll have our own validators we'll run as time goes on. So I mean, this is pretty simple how it works. It gets a lot more complex if you're trying to do compounding and stuff and the concepts, and it's a little hard to for some people to get their minds wrapped around. But I'll show you an example of what compounding does to the miners. This is something you would do if you're more long-term minded. You can compound short term, you can, but every compound you do is a new fresh deposit. It means it goes back into the contract, so you don't have access to those dividends. So just kind of think about that. So if you want to double and get out 100%, you can do that, but you would have to do that in such a way where the sum total of all your compounds would be equal to or greater than your 2X, which may take you longer than you would maybe want to. So if you want to get in and get out, just don't compound. We tell people, just don't compound. Just get in and get out. Let's forget your 2X. And don't compound it. You just do the 4 basic steps, and you'll get your 2X. We guarantee it. But if you want to do more than a 2X or get a multiple 2Xs, then compounding is probably something you need to consider. So we encourage people to split their wallets up and stuff like that, and have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're probably going to have a hard time optimizing your gains. You'll still get gains, and you'll still 2X, but you could probably do better, or even with compounding, make even more than a 2X in a certain time period. Not in the contract, but through compounding itself. So you see here, this let me see. Yeah, let me go back to there it is. This particular wallet here I compounded everything. This is day one. I put in 100,000 pulls. And day two, I put another 100,000 in. But on day three, I only put 100,000 from fresh capital, but 68,000 came from compounding from these other two miners. On the next day, I put 100,000. Then I have 172.5 that came from these compounding previously, because every one of these miners was compounding. And on the fifth day, I deposited 100,000 fresh capital. I had 216,000 from compounding. And on the sixth day here, as you can see, I already deposited 100,000 fresh capital, and I had 243,000 pulls as deposits from the compounding. So obviously, I'm adding 100,000 to it. Don't get me wrong, but if you deducted the 100,000 from that, it's still a lot. It's 68, 172, 216, and 243, which is pretty good. That's more than my original deposits. So the power of compounding allows you to earn more dividends in some total. So when I go to this day one miner, look at it, it got the 2x really fast in 6 days, obviously, and this one, and also the system itself is getting a benefit. There you go. Sorry. The system itself is getting a benefit from the compounding. So the compounding option is there for people to utilize, and they can utilize it in different ways. They can utilize it globally, whereas if you go to in here, all the miners and all the things, if you have a compound all up here and you select compound all, every miner will compound like it does in this wallet every time it hits. And then every compound turns into a deposit, which comes to be down here to be deployed. But you can see I can deploy one here from yesterday and then go back in the system. And that's what it does. There's other ways to compound, and we can talk about that in a second. Let me switch wallets here. So what do you think about the compounding, Smo? What was your impression of it?
Well, I have told you this before, or I've told someone, or many people I have said, I love compounding. You know what I mean? Like I worked at the bank, I was a certificate of deposit queen. So I would have the certificates of deposit would break at the bank, and I had to fix those in the back office. That's, and then publish it to the live. So we'd have to recalculate the certificate of deposits. And of course, I'm just a kid. I mean, I'm just in my 20s. And I'm like, oh my gosh, when I get to be, older and I have the money, I'm going to have lots of these certificates of deposits. And back then, the interest rates were a lot higher. Okay, we're talking about in the 80s here. So I already known about compounding be the eighth wonder of the world. So when we do the set all to compound, that to me makes sense for me because I have more of a long-term goal. But actually, after doing the testing, I have one short-term goal, one mid-term goal, and one long-term goal. And I'm going to diversify it that way. So I'm going to have I might even have 3 of 3 of 3 on different communities. And then, of course, we're just doing PLS right now in this tokenless environment. And who knows what the next one will be. So I might end up being in that. So I might be partaking in this pie in many various ways. But my favorite is the compound all functionality. And when you set it that way, you can set it to forget it. But you do need to go in every day or every other day to deploy your dividends. You can't just leave it alone. And if we were to just let you leave it alone, or they just let you leave it alone, then that would be a problem altogether. That wouldn't work out for the benefit.
We don't have an auto deploy function on purpose.
Thank
And
goodness.
that's an on purpose thing. It would cause problems. If somebody passed away, lost their keys, it would then run forever, and there's no way to turn it off. So we just decided to have it where you have to manually deploy every time a deposit is made from whatever source.
Dividends.
Mhm.
I just love it. And then, of course, deposit as you feel that you need to. You don't have to deposit every day. You don't have to deposit every week. You don't have to deposit every month.
Yep.
It's up to you what you want to do. And then your PLS will turn into true P
True shares or P2X. Yeah.
P2X.
Yeah.
Yeah, P2X.
Well,
So
on a technical level, it's not entirely accurate. You're allocated those shares. Your pulse doesn't turn into anything. It's not traded for anything. It's just you're allocated shares based upon your deposit weight on any given day.
I love that's a great way to say it. Yeah. So that has based on your deposit weight for that day that you put it in, because
Correct.
there's so much people depositing, and there's just different ratios. And what I really like too, once I get to learn all of this, is that the ratios are right there. They're right in front of my face. It's kind of like when I'm in 9mm and I'm looking to see what, the total value locked is, and what's the volume, and what's this, and what's this. So I can decide what I want to do before I get started, because it would be real fumbling if I were to go and jump into something that maybe isn't the perfect day for it. Maybe I would be better off doing it another day, kind of
Maybe.
thing.
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, the share
yeah,
rate becomes more and more. At first, it won't be as relevant in the sense of the math because it's new. Everybody's trying to get in. It's not as critical because you're going to 2x quickly comparatively anyway. Maybe in the future, the share rate becomes more important, but you're still going to be competing with the system miners and the IA miners and the SRE deposits. All three will be pulling, affecting the shares that are available for everybody else. So let's say you and 20 other people using the system on any given day, and you have the biggest bag of the 20, then your share rate would be the biggest of the 20, but you still have to compete with the other miners that are in the system miners. Therefore, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? So that's the only time it almost becomes a moot point. You get a slight advantage in a sense. It might reduce your time to 2x, maybe by 5%, maybe 10%, depending on the number of people and the size of the system, and when you actually do that. But it's more of a representation of share weight in the system of your deposit. That's really its purpose. So Mr. Monty asked, why wouldn't everyone just compound though? And that's going to 2x faster. Well, if they're smart, but everybody has different goals, right? And maybe you want to get in to get out quickly with a portion of your bag, and that's okay. Just don't compound.
because if you compound all, then you're going to have to do a few number of things. There's a couple tricks you got to have up your sleeve in order to exit.
Yep,
If
you
you're
would
on
have to. If you have the compound all function at the global level up here, it is something that would you really don't want to be messing with every day. You just want to leave it and let those wallets kind of do that. But you can come out here though. I'll show you this part. I don't know where I've got selected here. Is compound options, and here I can select this particular card ID number 553 right here, and I can choose to activate this miner and set its status, which apparently I've already done. And this will now compound itself, auto compound by itself. But this card might not want to. I might not want to compound, and this card I might not want to compound. But maybe this one I do for different reasons, right? And so you can then just auto compound certain cards in a wallet. So let's recap. You can compound every card in a wallet by compound all. It's a global setting for the wallet. Or you can individually compound certain miners to auto compound in a wallet in the wallet. Or if you have a bunch of miners, but let's say you want to only compound one time in the miner. Let's say you're at a 1.5x, you want to compound that one time. You go here. This one's already a compound. It has nothing in it. You select your pulse. You click this, and this would be a manual compound and bring those dividends as a manual deposit. And the rest of the time, it would just continue to gather up its 2x yield in dividends. So there's 3 basic options you have for compounding. And so you have to think about how you want your wallet set up to operate. Now, if you're on compound all, you can turn it off. There's no doubt you can turn all this stuff off, but you have to wait time for it to catch up because the system works on every 24 hours. So it's not instantaneous, and then I can change some stuff around. It's got to go through the system 24 hours, reset itself, and for any new things take effect. Because if it's already set in compound, those dividends are already gone. There's nothing left. So if I try to change it to not compound, it'll be tomorrow's dividends won't be compounded. So there's something to consider. There's operational things in that when you do things during the day. Now it gets complicated. I get it. It's complicated. But that's just how the system works.
What's we can't see the populated white field at the top on the left next to auto compound select. What is that?
I'm sorry. So this says miner select here. And miner select just means that individual miners are selected to do something. It's not nothing, basically. They're doing something other than just sitting and earning yield organically. So that just means one of however many miners you have is selected to do something different. The next one below is compound all. You would set this global status for the entire wallet, and every miner would compound. And then switch off shuts down everything globally and resets the whole stack of cards to nothing. So it all end up like this, all options off. And like this one here has pulse in it. I didn't compound this one or nothing. It just sits here. So if I wanted to manually compound this 50,000 pulse, I can click this button here and then confirm it my wallet. So this is what happens. And also you can change how much you want to compound. Let's say I have 50,000 pulse dividends. Maybe I only want to compound 40. I just change it. See, just go 40,000. I want to keep 10 in, right? So I have a miner that's running. Say I got who is that? It says said that. So Mr. Fontaine said he had 100 million pulse. Let's say he wants to pull out 50 million, let the rest roll and compound. He can do it here, or only compound 50 million and let the rest roll to 2x and then take out his 150 when it matures. That may be his choice. See. So he has an option to manually do it one time when he reaches a threshold he's comfortable with. So that's how you would do that, and that's why it exists. It's a tool of options for the user. It's not, you don't have to compound, but it's basically a smart way if you really want to earn a lot of pulse. And every class miner, that is the miner select 1XR rotation miners and the IA miners, all auto compound. Every day, all the time, which helps with the volume of the system and makes their yield faster.
Just loving it.
Okay, so Mr. Fontaine asks, does it reset each time you compound? And now the 2x from the new amount, principal for first interest. There's no reset, no. Once a miner hits its 2x, it is ended, meaning it cannot earn any more dividends. It's done with its earnings. It's maxed out. If you've compounded, you might have a little bit left in there. You have to exit manually or compound manually, but all the dividends have been used up, and this miner is no longer active. So there's no resetting. You have to exit out from all the dividends that's available, and exit miner, and you select your miner, and you click this. It says, yes, I made it to 2x. Congratulations. I have 21.4 thousand left in the contract in this particular card because I compounded the rest already. I hit the button and I would exit. And so, then this would disappear off this line, and my day one miner is now gone. And that's what would happen. And this would, so every day that these, and what happens is when you 2x, every person who deposits on day one, 2x is the exact same day. So there's only very rare occasions you would see people 2x at a different time than a deposit day. And that's just rare occasions based upon a few factors. So, and that
Do you
has to
think
do
we're
with the
gonna
share
2x?
rate.
You think
What's
we'll
that?
2x tomorrow? You think we're gonna 2x tomorrow based on the
Yeah.
numbers that you see there?
Oh yeah, yeah. If we all can, if the deposits continue to come in, and the system miners do what they're doing, because we're only working with the rotation miners, we're not working with the IA miners because it's a test, right? Yeah, we should 2x tomorrow. There's no, I don't see. We're actually closer than we were yesterday to 2x. So let's say everybody who 2x recompounds again. That's even more deposits, right?
Well, yeah, because when I exit, I put it back in.
Right. So then that means it's more going to the mining pool, more to be distributed. Therefore, the 2x for the second day, it comes up. That's for the second day deposits, third day deployments. So yeah, we'll 2x tomorrow unless nobody deposits at all and nobody compounds. That'd be the only way we wouldn't. So as you can see, the system kind of is going to do what it does. So if you look at the history, let's see if I have one. I don't know. It's my here. So you can kind of see on day one, we're at 2x. Now we're at today, day two depositors were at a 1.8x. Day three is at a 0.66x. And day four depositors are at a 0.27x already. So everybody's earning all the time when you make it. So when you're in the system, every day you'll be earning something. And this rate of increase will vary over time. And so, like all auction house models, the fastest time in this case to 2x is always day one. No doubt about it. In this case, day two is pretty quick also, but it's actually 1 day later, right? Makes sense. But the fastest time is always day one. There's never a time you'll ever beat the depositing earnings from your deposit from the ROI perspective is day one. You'll never beat it. There's only 1 day one on purpose. So if you think about if you want to participate and get in this thing and 2x your pulse bags, day one's the best day, no doubt about it. But if you want to say set the system up and be here for a longer period of time, then you might consider, I have a video on strategies and stuff, splitting your wallets up and maybe setting part of your bag for the long term, maybe part of your bag for a midterm view, and maybe a part of your bag you have a short term and you only have a few miners, you compound, everything else you just let run to 2x and collect. So
I can add on to that, believe it or not, because yesterday I have stickies, on my computer. And I copy pasted what Daniel had written. And so I'm going to go ahead and read that. It will only take me less than a minute. If you can't hear the helicopters.
No, we're good.
The government's open now. Okay, it says the day you get in. Well, the question is, first of all, is it best to get in on the first day? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And one guy wrote, not Daniel didn't write this, but somebody else wrote this. It doesn't matter if you get in early in the day or at the end. The true shares will be distributed based on your percentage of the deposits for the day from what is available. That's the beauty of 24 hours. So that kind of answers that question. But then Daniel went a little bit more. Can you hear that helicopter?
No, I can't.
Good. He wrote, what's more relevant is the day you get in, the program will always be responsible and will aim to deliver a competitive APR for all entries at all times, be it on the day 30, day 300, or day 3000. However, as the mining pool is still young and will have very few true shares, P2X, in it during the early days, the faster these miners achieve their 2 times, the higher the dividends per share. That's why nothing beats day one deposits.
Exactly.
That was a commercial, but
and the reason we say that is when you look up at the top, there's less than 1 million available today. 15,000 shares were taken off the top before anybody made a deposit because of the SRE deposits. They take them off the top, helping people share rate. But eventually, so day one is 1 million shares because there's no SRE deposits because it doesn't exist yet. That's only day one and day two are the only time there's a 1 million shares available ever. Every day since from that, there will be fewer and fewer shares for the users. Now, the system miners are taking some of those shares themselves, obviously, but the users themselves will be competing for fewer and fewer shares over time, which means they have a better share rate, proportionally as time goes on. But there'll never be another day one. You'll never have a chance to get that share rate ever again.
That makes so much sense. I'm going to have to listen to that again because I think there was like 4 helicopters. There might have been an accident out there.
But but you can see here though what's happened over time. If you go back to this wallets, I don't know which wallet we're on now. Okay, had some deposits that did different things. Again, I did the same thing with this wallet: 100, 100, and it had 168. I did 100 and did not compound on purpose. So therefore, this day didn't get any extra, as you can see yesterday, because I did not compound this one. And so not compounding has an effect, right? Because, oh, look, I didn't compound. And now I had to manually put 100,000 in. Now, to be fair, I may be wanting to 2X this and not compound, which is okay. I can do that. So it's a day 4 miner. So it's this one here. I have 2 miners, 84 each. There's 268, whatever the math was. And they're on all options off. They're not compounding. I have 111,000 pulse available. I can get right now if I wanted to from 100,000 deposit, and it's plus the compounding I received to it. So my extra, I can get some of that yield out if I needed to as extra pulse right here if I wanted to exit the miner or just or compound. So I exit, I select my miner. Each miner's got 55,000 in it. I can pick one and get out and let the other one stay and roll if I want to and earn more dividends. So these are the options we're giving people in the system. Another thing you can do too, for either compounding or exiting, you can change which wallet you wish to compound to or exit to. Let me start wallet A and say, you know what, I need some pulse over in wallet B. I want to exit some pulse out. Just come over here and copy paste, drop your address in, and you can go out to wallet B. Just everybody has different reasons for it. Maybe want to diversify your portfolio. Maybe you have a wallet that you need some gas in. Who knows? That's another option that exists for people.
Privacy.
And privacy, which is not really meant for privacy. We didn't build it for privacy. We built it for convenience because we're like, it's convenient. We have the same need ourselves as individuals. Like, I would like to move to a different wallet with some of this stuff because maybe I want to fund something else or invest in some other thing. I have a wallet specifically for it, and I need funds. So anyway, but it's not like really a mixer or anything, right? Because it doesn't mix anything because you have to play. You get in the system and use the system. So it's not like a mixer you would traditionally think of. But I guess it could kind of, in some ways, obfuscate what's going on in overall, but not intentionally. I'll talk about this up here. We talked about the IA wallets, and for those who are interested and have a community they want to support and would like them to maybe get a referral link, partner ID link that they can utilize for the referral program with the users. So here we have eMint, Tetra, and Gas Money. These are some communities. We just took some samples and we're making some stuff when we build our model. When we launch, we'll have a bunch of these cards up here with different communities. So for eMint, for example, here, there is, some information about it. This is not even turned on, but you could come down here and set community token, and then it would allow you to pick whichever one is up here. And then you could set all your referral IDs for referral bonuses for all your deposits to benefit your token community of your choice. And eventually, like I said earlier about the claim with IA, if eMint Karios runs eMint, if he decided he would like to have a claim on all his tokens, the pulse earned in the wallets from the miners would go and buy that eMint off the market, deposit in his claim contract, and then you can click and then claim those tokens based upon your holder share of the system of that community system and or staking contract, or whatever they got that they're using as a means of for holders. So typically be a holder count that you pull off like off the pulse scan, how many holders of this token are there, and that would show you that. And we'd use that number, calculate it. And if you own, say, 0.1% of the pool, you get of the total supply, you get 0.1% of what's available to withdraw as extra emit tokens. Okay, for this instance. Or carriers might say, you know what? I don't want anybody to claim those tokens because they're emitted every day. I want the supply to be burnt instead. So we just do the same thing, purchase them off the market. Instead of this being a claim button, it'd just be a burnt. It'd just go to the burn address. And that'd be it. And somebody could call the function and would just burn the tokens after they purchased. And so this is something that allows, this is how the protocols would benefit from having the integration amplifier partner IDs, because then they can show their community, hey, use the ID. If you're going to go double your tokens over there, we as a community might as well benefit from it. So here's the ID. Let's everybody use it, because then we'll have perpetual buying of our token at a 75% increased rate all the time. It never stops.
I will be using all of them when they become available, all of them.
So there's a lot of communities out there. So if say you're a big holder in a community, if you hold a lot of emit, and you can get, but you can benefit because you now have somebody buying your token. You might not get new tokens, but you know that, hey, that my emit's getting bought every day, so the pricing goes up. Maybe I can sell some, and if I want to make, to cash out of my tokens. And that's what it's for. Whereas Tetra in this case would probably never burn, just because they're a utility token that you can stake and earn yield. So it's kind of maybe counterproductive as burn knows, but all the tokens that are bought are stuck in here. So if for Tetra's sake, you can stake Tetra and earn yield. Well, if the tokens are over here in his claim contract, that means that they're not in the staking contract, which means those who are in the stake, people who are staking it, get more of the pie, so to speak. And the those over here can get more and increase their stake share if they use this. And you can claim any of these tokens that are be available and you don't have to use Tru2X. You can be any community member, can come in anytime, come in the UI and hit the claim button. It doesn't matter if they use Tru2X or not.
It doesn't matter if who uses Tru2X or not.
But in this case, the Tetra holders.
Okay.
Tetra holders, any Tetra holder can come in here and claim Tetra tokens, and they do not have to interact with Tru2X at all, as far as deposits or anything. They just come and claim. It's open claim to all holders.
But yet, what you're saying is they can hit claim, but they won't have to. They don't have to do anything else.
They hit claim, and then whatever's available in there as far as the tokens and their percentage will be calculated, and hit the green button and go. That's what would happen.
Okay.
So you don't have to be a community, a Tru2X user to claim the tokens. You just got to be a community member, right, of the community. If you own a bunch of Tetra tokens, use the Tetra claim and get free Tetra tokens. That's all you'll do.
Might as well just stop on by and do that at least.
Yeah, right. So if you have these tokens now, the caveat is to do this, you have to be in the wallet. You hold the tokens, obviously, because it's going to scan the wallet, right? So that's how it works. So if you want to come here and claim them, be in the wallet, you have the tokens in, and then come and claim your tokens. So those are available.
Now, Daniel talked about that this morning, and he made it sound. I mean, he explained what it's like for the. Well, I won't go into the community. Of course, I'm not going to try to explain it, but it was very interesting when he discussed, what happens on that with the protocol for the community. But as far as us as users, someone like myself or like Mr. Monty Fontaine, or any of these people that are here today, when we claim, say for instance, if we were to claim emit, and then we decided we wanted to participate in Tru2X, then in that case, because we claim that, isn't it true that we're also going to get some referral rewards?
Yeah, you would have to set emit as your down here. You'd set it here as your community token. So I want to participate now. I've claimed some tokens. Like this is cool. I think I'll put some money in Tru2X. So you come here and make your deposit, and you set your community token, and it would then set this as the referral link, the ID link you get from the partner for Emit, and then Emit would get the other half of that bonus. Right? You'll get your bonus yourself when you make your use the link, and then the Emit gets the other part of the bonus, and that is what goes into funding the IA wallets.
And in this case, say you were interested in being involved with Emit, and then there was another community you also wanted to be involved with. Can you be involved with both of those?
You have to have a different wallet because this is for the whole wallet. It's the same as the referral ID concept. It's the same thing. It's a wallet wide thing. So you have to, you can change. You can go from the same wallet, Emit to Tetra to Gas Money in this case. But if you didn't want, if you want to do two same time, you have to have a different wallet. That's the only way it will work because they're wallet dependent. Because remember, this is a global setting. That's why.
Wait, what is a global set? Oh, that. Yeah, because I can't see, personally, I can't see that. I don't have the screen open big enough right now.
Gotcha. But that's anything up here is a global setting for the entire wallet. That's why you have to have a different wallet if you want to have support two communities at the same time. Just have different wallets. But you need different wallets anyway. I mean, we recommend it. You always want to diversify. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You always want to kind of keep your wallet separate, especially when dealing with any protocol. Just have different wallets so you don't have to worry about hackers or anything else. Losing seed phrase and whatnot.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah, in the drop down menu, what did it say though? What were the actual words in there at the bottom?
It says set community token at the bottom.
Got it. Okay.
So that when you do that, it would put up the option to set it, but we got it turned off at the moment. So, but yeah, set community token. You click it and it'll come up here and it'll allow you to pick one of these. It'll be a little small box will show up right here, and you just scroll through the list of communities, and whichever one you want, you click it and you hit set, and then you prove it in your wallet. That means that wallet is now set.
Okay. And do you plan on having other communities?
Oh, yeah. We have a list of 8 or 10 already. We just haven't put the cards up because we're getting people to make decisions right now. Hey, because they're learning, right? Everybody's learning about it. Guys from Box are learning about it. Other places are learning about it. What do they think something they want to use or not? Do they have enough community support and stuff like that? And so we will have a whole list of these cards. That's what this little arrows here. There'll be a whole list of cards here, and then you can have to scroll left and right to pick whichever community card you see. Hey, I like that one, and know it's there. Then you can go down here and select it, and then activate it. And then when you're ready to claim, you just scroll across and go claim those tokens if it's a claim function.
Yeah, and because this only takes a few minutes a day to go in and do the compound, well, not the compounding if you have it on auto compound, but if you want to deploy and all that, you're going to keep seeing that. You're going to wonder, wait, what is that? And if you saw 10 or 15 of them, you're really going to be like, what is that? What do I have something here that says to claim. I want to know more. So
hey, I got that token.
Cool.
Can I claim that token? That's you ask yourself. I have that token. Can I go claim some? Sure enough, there's some tokens there, right? Go claim them. They're free. Don't cost you anything. Just gas for the contract. So that's it.
That's really cool. I think that's really awesome that you guys put that as part of the whole concept here.
Well, it's one of those things that it's really deeper than we're talking about. If a community really understood the power, they would be all over this like white on rice, so to speak, because this has more power than they realize. And if they got in the beginning on day one, and they really got the community rallied and said, hey, if we all make deposits, we're all going to get a 2X. We're all going to get a bonus, but the community is going to get a big punch, a jump off at the gate, and have a lot of pulse that's going to be associated with this bonus for this card. Say Emit community does it, right? Then every time that miner goes through its cycle, it's going to be bigger and grow even bigger in the future with a larger start. thus having a bigger impact on the price, especially in markets like we have. Imagine, let's see, I think all these tokens are all the tokens are down across the whole entire chain, so it doesn't matter which one. Imagine if, let's say, a $2,000 buy came in out of the blue. Bam, big spike in the chart. Like, yeah, I think EMIT's only got like, oh, what, 10,000 level. It ain't a whole lot of liquidity right now. We could, push the price up 20, 30, 40% with one buy. That's what happened automatically in the system, right? Or a whole bunch of little buys every day, right? $100 here, $50 there. It would kind of buy a little bit, was probably happen over time. So, yeah, we would affect their charts. Now people can have an exit. They have some exit liquidity to get out of now. They're trapped. They want to get out. Or in the case of EMIT, it's volume for their single-sided staking. Because for EMIT, this is a really good tool because there's the way their single-sided staking contract works off buys and sells. If we're buying the token regularly, that's more volume to the single-sided stakers, and they can only benefit.
Wow, that's awesome. And so when I use that, I would use the ID also, right? Because I see the top left side for, like, for instance, emit, the ID is 130.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Yes,
referral ID.
that's the ID number. But so
Oh,
you'd have,
okay.
yeah.
So
So
it's
what? Yeah, it is the same thing as the ID, but we're working on getting that to be a little easier to use, where you can put the number in as when when you go to lobby at the right here, the referral
yeah.
ID, you could put 130, right? But we're trying to give them a link. The link is
Okay.
basically up here for the address. It will come in and allow you to link directly into their. You're already preset as a partner using that link. It's an automatic thing. So this is already preset, and you're already listed here as a community associate, right? You associate with that community. Therefore, all your deposits and compounds will benefit that community.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're trying to make it easy so you don't have to manually do things, because it is cumbersome. Don't get me wrong, it's a cumbersome process. I mean, people who are not familiar, I understand it's going to be new. So the partner ID links are what we're going to be handing out to all the communities and say, look, y'all get after it. You community members, if you want more of the same thing, or you want your token to be bought and burnt, y'all all share the link and use it amongst each other, and you will benefit your community, in a big way. And it's really going to be one of the my personal prediction is it's not going to be used a lot at first, only because it's new. It's hard to understand, but the handful of communities that do use it are going to see big results, and they'll be the ones that'll be a step ahead of everybody else because they'll already have their universal ID. When we launch the next tool and double PulseX, well, then they can do the same, use the same ID. They already have their same card up here. And now that even more miners activated, buying even more of their token. So now they double their buys. Okay. All of a sudden, that's pretty big, because we all know that when people see the success of Tru2X in this particular version, and they say, oh, these people got 2X, they doubled, that was great. And you see, everybody gets in, like, say, day 30, like, man, I wish I'd got in on day one. Can be a faster 2X. Everybody has regret, right? I didn't know about it. I learned about it late, whatever the reason, right? When we launch the second protocol, people will know, and they'll already be familiar, and there'll be a whole lot more people on day one than this one. Meaning all these referral IDs from all these partners will have even more power and more deposits, making even more lucrative for the partners and their protocols. So it's really it's something's going to take a little education for the community to really get their heads wrapped around. Like, well, why would I do that? When the question should be ask themselves, why shouldn't I do this? Because it's basically free buys, free money. It's cash flow to my system.
Wow. I mean, I can't wait to get out of bed already, but now I'm really going to be excited to get out of bed in the morning, because
Yep.
it's the first thing I do is I start on my crypto in the morning. That's when I do most of my, well, it's not always my choice, but in this case, it is my choice. And I'm not looking at stupid, like, it's just every morning, you have 24 hours or from when UTC 000 started. Like, how
Yep.
hard is that? Like,
Right. And
just
everybody's different, right?
yeah.
Some people work nights. They get in, maybe the late mornings are their time, because we you 000 UTC is I think it's like 7 p.m. Central. I think that's what it is. Um, Whatever, it's around there somewhere. So around evening time is when mom would reset. So maybe I do my stuff at night because it's before I go to bed. I'll go in here, make my deployments, you know, shift some stuff around, whatever I need to do, and that's it. And I'd have my morning off. I just go about my day. You may do yours in the morning and go about your day, not worry about it, and think about it until the next morning. And everybody's will be a little different. So, and it doesn't matter what time of day you get in. You can be in the first minute or the last minute. It really doesn't matter. What time of day, it makes no difference. So there's no wait, no advantage to be in first or last. You just get in and make your deposit and make a deployment, earn your yield, and exit. Hey AJ, what's up?
UTC, I looked it up and it says here, makes it so complicated. What's DST mean? I don't know. But it says here Eastern, it's 5 o'clock, Central 6 o'clock, Mountain 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Then would be yours. If you're in Arizona, I think, or wherever you are, you're on daylight savings, so you would have to do the hour thing.
Yeah, I'm already. But anyway, but then it says DST on another column, and then it says Eastern 4, Central 5, Mountain 6.
Yeah, that's daylight savings time.
Thank you. Duh.
When it comes up, in the spring, we spring forward, it will change a little bit. So that's why. But even still, for us though, I mean, wherever you are in the world, 000 UTC is kind of a standard thing. So that timer up here, that's what it represents. Now, right now, this timer's not in sync on purpose. It's set to UTC. We launched it out of UCC time just to get this test thing. But this would tell you when the thing is available, and then we have these two green things that say your participation is confirmed and everything's been distributed. When the second one is and when this green thing is up, it means, hey, green light, and everything's working. So all the computations are finished and everything's been reset for the next day. So
awesome. Hey AJ.
Yeah, not enough pulse. You're right, AJ. We do not have enough pulse. I mean, if you only have 100 million pulse, and you're like a poor person like Mr. Fontaine here, he's just struggling with 100 million pulse. But you get 200 million if you use the protocol. So there you go. Well, Smo, so overall, what is your just general overall impression of the protocol?
It's easier than it looks. And that's all I'm going to say. Yep. Now, of course, I dream about it at night. When I go to sleep, I have dreams about Tru2X. And I wake up and sometimes I don't think about it until later. And I'm like, oh, I had a dream about that last night. And then I think about it and it's all about Tru2X. So yeah, it's really part of me now. If that gives you any idea.
Well, I mean, I've been dreaming about this for 2 years and calculating and thinking. So even my own personal bags, I want to utilize in the system. I'm thinking, what's the best way to really do it for myself? And I'm thinking, even though I've talked about strategies, when it comes down to your own stuff, you got to think, okay, how should I use it personally? Because what is my personal goal specific I'm trying to achieve, right? And so I'm looking at the market and making decisions on that too, because if the market's down, what's my anticipation? I'm weighing that into my options. Like, all right, do I anticipate maybe when the Tru2X sack is over, maybe we go up some? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know the future, or maybe we pump, Q1. I can't answer the question. I don't know the future, but I have to make a decision based upon what my assumptions are so that I'm prepared and have enough liquid capital to If I want to sell some, take some profits or whatever, I can.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, unless there's any questions in the chat, it's been over an hour now. We're going to shut this down. I don't want to, you know, talk too long, but I'll put the Smoke. Can you put the main chat link in the chat if you haven't done it?
I did do it, and it actually gave me an error message because
Okay.
but I did go live and put it in there. Did you guys get the Telegram link? I can do it again. Oh, I'd have to go to the live YouTube to do it. And I'll do that right now. I'll do it again. And I will have my volume off when I.
Yeah. All right. There's the Telegram chat for Tru2X. You come in there, ask questions. We're always in there. There's always somebody around. So we're always there. I think we've been manning the testing chat for almost 4 or 5 days straight. We only had just 2 or 3 times we shut it off for just a few minutes. So I think poor Daniel's been in there like 48 hours straight at times. It's nuts. But yeah, we've been not getting a whole lot of sleep basically, trying to get ready for this. We do have a projected launch schedule. We want to try to be out by the end of this month, toward the end of November or the 1st of December, depends on after this validation phase is over. It'll take what it takes after the phase. As we turn the phase, this validation test off. We shut the server off for this particular test, this contract. We will then get it ready to relaunch for mainnet. And there's some things we have to do in the background, stuff like that. We have our own internal business we have to take care of to get ready. Things we are responsible for as individuals, as team members. So the standard stuff, no big deal. But yeah, it's just part of the process. And then once we're ready, we know we can press go. We'll set a launch date and then have a big party and launch it, and everybody can 2x.
Being that you say that, I just want to suggest to the people that are here right now, or if you're listening to this recorded, you want to get over to the Telegram as soon as you can, because I don't think things always, I've been here and done this many times, not with this Tru2X, but I'm older. I've been around, maybe you're listening and you're like in your 30s or something. This is the time to really, get into Telegram and get some more special attention that you would 3 years from now. So really it's a special thing. It seems like I always am in the right place at the right time. So to me, I'm not surprised, but this is being in the right place at the right time.
Yep. And, all getting in early does, though, is get you a 2x faster. You'll still get your 2x if you enter the system later than day one. So it's not a big deal. And if you compound, think about it, you're entering in every day. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Just get in, have a plan. Main thing is have a plan, whatever you're going to do. So you're not guessing while you're in it, because you can then just, losing out on opportunity cost by doing things in a more thoughtful way. That's really all you're losing is just opportunity cost. You're not going to lose a pulse. You'll get doubled anyway, but maybe do it faster, or a way that gets you a little more seed money for the future. That's all we're really talking about. So, and I have a video. Go ahead.
Immerse yourself now, as AJ has put it.
Yep. Yeah. Get familiar. Come to chat. Ask questions. We'll be there to answer your questions. So we can, to understand the mechanics, like where the yield comes from, is always a question comes up. Don't blame you. I get it 100%. And we can talk about all that and explain that in different ways. So, because it's different. We are new. We are unique. We have proprietary code that we've developed from scratch. So yes, there's nothing like this out there anywhere in crypto. And we are excited to launch, and we're launching on Pulse Chain first. So.
Wow, I am blown away. Yeah, because there's nothing like this anywhere. Bring a friend.
Yep. That's right. Okay. Well, I'm going to shut this thing down. Smo, it's good talking to you. And everybody, I'm going to drop you down real quick. So anyway, appreciate y'all coming. Appreciate Smo coming in, giving her input as one of our testers. And y'all, all the testers have done a really good job, asked good questions this whole time. And they all have enjoyed. If they were day one depositor, they've all enjoyed the first 2X. So I hope this was good information for everyone. And if you have any questions or comments, just feel free to drop the chat with the chat link that's in the description or in the chat box below, and Tru2X.io. And we have so we have this test going on for another day or two, and then we're gonna terminate it and get ready for mainnet launch. So just don't forget, you can always save, earn, and grow. Tru2X.io. Have a nice day. Take care.